The story of Mike Lindell, Josiah, is a very, very sad one. And I have an update for you on that front. If you're not familiar, the MyPillow company is the company that Mike Lindell started. And at some point, he got obsessed with Donald Trump and his election lies and has, it appears, sunken his life savings into election lawsuits and who even knows what, but millions upon millions of dollars he spent related to his belief that the 2020 election was stolen and future elections will be stolen. The machines need to be gotten rid of, and all of these different wild beliefs connected to conspiracy theories. And he's sort of tanking his life because of it. So this segment is kind of an example of, right wingers always say, go woke, go broke. I don't know, go MAGA, go broke doesn't rhyme. But apparently, if you lean in too hard to these conspiracy theories, you indeed can go broke. This is from The Hill. MyPillow auctions off equipment amid massive cancellation. CEO Lindell says MyPillow is auctioning off hundreds of pieces of equipment and subleasing some manufacturing spaces amid what founder and CEO Mike Lindell calls a massive cancellation, to use Trump's word there. And then Newsweek is also reporting on this. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell has claimed the company lost $100 million after major retailers stopped stocking its products in response to his vocal support for the discredited conspiracy theory that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from Donald Trump. So before I gave you an example of the past round that we already covered, but just as a reminder, of kind of his life falling apart. And it's not a celebration of this, but before we get to that, Josiah, if you want to jump in, to me, he seems like someone who actually buys into these theories. And in a sense, even though he's holding such anti-democratic views and his pursuit of trying to make changes based on those views is costing him so much. So in a sense, it's justice that he's being punished for that. But also as a human being, I have a hard time not being a little bit sad about it for him.
Yeah, the whole situation's, there's a lot to unpack there because, bit of a spoiler alert, I'm a cynic by nature. And so there's this quote that you should never attribute to malice what could be attributed to ignorance. And I typically actually have the opposite approach. Like when I see people engage in the sort of behaviors that Mike Lindell does, my default assumption is they're doing it cynically. Surely they can't believe that the election was stolen. Surely they can't buy into the cult of personality surrounding Donald Trump. And you and I have talked about this before because we don't find Trump particularly charismatic or persuasive, like even just in an abstract way. So I've for years struggled with this. But of course, over time, certain members of my social circle, certain members of my family have gotten into Cult 45, as I call it. So I have since come to understand that a lot of people actually do genuinely believe this. And of course, watching a lot of the videos that you have in your Trump rallies, it's also pretty educational too, which gets us to Mike Lindell. I was kind of on the fence about where I stood. Like, okay, is he doing this purposefully? Is this cynical, an attempt to get attention? Or does he really believe it? But between this story, which you're telling me like the financial repercussions, which are not causing him to recant, and also his appearances like on Jimmy Kimmel, he strikes me as a man who is genuinely unwell. And so in that respect, it's weird to think that Mike Lindell, who's, multi-millionaire, although perhaps not for much longer, that he is himself a victim of Cult 45, of the MAGA movement, and of Donald Trump's cult of personality. Most of the victims are people who are much financially less fortunate than somebody like Mike Lindell. But this goes to show you how dangerous this cult is because it climbs all social and financial strata. It will also affect the uber rich. So that to answer your question, that's my take on it now.
Yeah, he does seem like a true believer, which doesn't excuse the actions of casting doubt on free and fair elections that were legitimate and attempting to overthrow our democratic processes, and all of that absolutely doesn't excuse it. But it's interesting because a lot of the people who are at the top, who are the more wealthy, prominent, as you're pointing out there, individuals are more in the grifter game and kind of know that they're being dishonest. Mike Lindell does seem like he is authentically detached from reality. And then as kind of refresher on one of the past stories we talked about on this is from Rolling Stone. MyPillow founder and CEO Mike Lindell claims that the company has had to borrow almost $10 million to keep the lights on. The MyPillow guy has been embroiled in a series of lawsuits brought by voting machine manufacturers who allege Lindell defamed them by spreading conspiracies regarding their role in the 2020 election. So whether it be retailers dropping MyPillow or lawsuits he's dealing with, a lot of financial troubles there. And he talked about this during a past interview with Steve Bannon that we went over. Take a look.
About, I guess, your loan, the loan you took out at MyPillow. People are all over you about this.
Yeah, there last year actually was 3 separate loans as the machine companies continue to sue us for billions of dollars, and we had to borrow almost $10 million at MyPillow. We're a company. We're an employee-owned company. It just baffles me, Steve. You've got all these companies, these machine companies out there, these voting machine companies that nobody even knew their name before, but everybody protects them. And yet you attack a USA company, MyPillow, and my employees, and it's just disgusting.
See, he's talking about it there as if it's the machine companies that are hurting his employees, but the machine companies are doing in attempting to go after people like Mike Lindell or hold them accountable, or Fox News are getting justice for and trying to protect their company and their employees. And it's Mike Lindell and people lying on Fox News and all those perpetuating these lies that are the ones initiating that series of damaging actions based on these anti-democratic views that are not founded in facts. And time again, Lindell has had opportunities to bring forward evidence of the claims that he says justifies all these different actions, and he can't. And now he's been ordered to pay $5 million to that one guy who proved him wrong. So it all around an unfortunate situation, Josiah.
It is, and it's also kind of indicative of a broader issue about conservative notions of cancel culture. And again, we've talked about this, but conservatives for years have tried to insinuate or have flat out claimed that cancel culture is a unique construct of the left, that cancel culture didn't exist, that trying to boycott or organize boycotts or wielding the levers of market power against those that you disagree with, that just originated with progressive capture of Twitter, when the truth is, the cancel culture that Mike Lindell is complaining about has always existed. And it's one of the tenets of capitalism, where if you disagree with the values or practices of a particular business or a particular enterprise, you can boycott. You can call for boycotts. You can try to exert social and market pressure to correct their behavior or to punish them. And so what Mike Lindell is experiencing is something that's a tale as old as time. Boycotts and these, just once upon a time, it was, you would actually picket companies and you'd be boycotting in person with signs and things like that. That's gone away thanks to the power of social media. But that's nothing new. And as you say, Mike Lindell's own words and behavior have brought it on himself. And he enjoys the freedom in the United States to peddle these conspiracy theories, to cast aspersions on Dominion voting systems and really the electoral process of the United States itself. He is free to do so, but there are consequences. Freedom of expression is not freedom of consequence. And somebody like Mike Lindell, who was an accomplished businessman, shouldn't be surprised by this.
Thank you so much for watching. For the outro on this video, I want to plug Josiah's channel. Hit them with it, Josiah.
Hey, everybody. I appreciate you watching. You can find me at youtube.com/@ponderingpolitics. One word, Pondering Politics. If you like progressive commentary that focuses on coalition building with other elements of the left and calling the Republican Party out for what it's become, I hope you'll view my channel. Give me a like and subscribe and some feedback. Again, youtube.com/@ponderingpolitics. Thanks again.